Hi, my name's John. I'm an addict in recovery, and I guess I always say that just for people who are you know who can identify with me. But like I'm a normal human being like everybody else. I just have a condition or an illness that I have to deal with on a daily basis. But I think I want to talk about doing, learning to do the right thing. You know. Especially when you've been used to doing a lot of wrong stuff, like doing it the wrong way. Like I learned, a lot of shortcuts throughout the years. I sold, I bought and sold wholesale, and I was a street vendor, so I sold a lot of stuff on the street, when I was living in New York. And so I always kind of like, always looked at everything. Um, I always looked at everything, trying to find shortcuts here and there and trying to do things that like always looking to save money or looking to find a different way to do things, but what I've learned is like there's no peace. Like I don't have any peace when I do something that is not right. Like if I do something that isn't legitimate, or that like maybe breaking the law. Like sometimes like I there was a time when I didn't wear my seatbelt. Like simple things like that, like wearing my seatbelt. Even though now it's the law, you have to wear a seatbelt. But like there's still people who actually don't wear their seatbelt. And like I can't do that today. Like I have to put on my seatbelt. Because it's kind of like the way I look at it is like if I don't have my seatbelt, then I have to worry about the police pulling me over and telling me that, or giving me a ticket, or pulling me over. It's just kind of embarrassing, an embarrassing moment. That causes some shame and causes some guilt in in my life. Like from just the experience itself. And even though like people, some people can live with that. If you keep coming around here and practicing principles, in your life, that you eventually won't want to do that anymore because of the feeling that it causes afterwards. And a lot of times, those things that we do um, are the very things that cause us to feel bad with ourselves. You know, um, but it's kind of like like when you're driving, and you're on the highway, and the speed limit is 70 miles an hour, and it's 70 miles an hour, but sometimes we want, like you want to drive a little faster, so you drive like 80 or 85, and that's cool. I mean, sometimes I drive 80 miles an hour, but like, like when I do that, like I'm always worried about like the police, like I'm worried about, them catching me. Like like this is what goes on inside my head, like while I'm driving, like instead of like having just a smooth drive and thinking about where my destination, and when I get there, like all I'm thinking about is, oh, I could get caught, or like, what if, cop, pulls me over for speeding. Like, all this, unnecessary, this feeling of anxiety and this feeling of like, oh my goodness, like if like I might get caught. And like there was a time when I was addicted to that feeling, and like I liked that feeling. Like I used to turn around and do things, because maybe I get caught. Like maybe having like, like things like having sex in the bathroom, in the public bathroom, um, things like that. Like those things would excite me and shit. But like, today I don't like being caught. Like I don't like the feeling that brings. Like I don't like, like, in not only, I mean, yeah, you get caught, and at the same time you have to pay a ticket, and it costs you money, and it just, like all this unnecessary, thing from just, doing a little thing like speeding, like going too fast. So even though like, your car turns around and tells you you can go 120 miles an hour, you know, there's, the law says that you're only allowed 70. So, even though like I said, everything is allowed, and yeah, you have to pay the price for it, but at the same time, it's not always beneficial for you to do. So like I had a friend, right, and we were going to the movies. This was when I was in Orlando, and I'm sure he'll know when I share the story if he's listening. He'll know that this is about him. But like when we went to the movies, like I bought movies to go see the digital movie, the regular digital movie, and like he was like, oh, we could go see the 3D, and he actually went into the box. The 3D box, where the glasses are inside the movie theater, and grabbed the 3D. And he said, "Come on, we can go see the 3D," and like we had tickets for the digital, we didn't have tickets for the 3D. So like I was like, nah, that's all right, man. We're gonna go into the digital. And when we sat in the digital, like I was sitting there and I looked at him and I said, you see, like we belong here. We're supposed to be here. Like nobody can tell us that we have to leave because we're not supposed to be here. And that's the peace that you get from doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the peace that you get from doing things correctly. You see, and like that's how I feel right now. Like like I like there was some things, like my computer, like my phone, like all these things, that just kept giving me little problems, and I get a little emotional because like it's nice to have some peace, some peace of mind, and be able to live with that peace. But this is what this program has done, from working 12 steps, from working the principles, from honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, integrity, all these different things that you get from working these principles, and that you don't even think that you're gonna get, peace, serenity, you know um, you know um, being able to just being able to not have to worry about somebody knocking on your door and saying you broke the law or you did something wrong. Like you don't have to worry about stuff like that. And like like when you're driving in your car and a cop pulls behind you, and like I used to panic. I used to, and sometimes I still do, because like you think that they're gonna pull you over, whatever. But like that's just from old experiences. But the truth of the matter is that, what, I'm completely legitimate. I have a driver's license, I have insurance, I have, everything that I'm supposed to have. I have it. So like if they stop me, like, hey, you know yeah, why am I being stopped? And most of the time it's because I have either a broken light or some shit on the car, and that's the reason why they're pulling me over. So like that's what I've learned from doing, from living right, from living, correctly, from living some principles, that you have more peace. You're able to live with more peace, and you know that you belong, and you know that you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be, because no one can tell you that you don't belong there. Because or that you're doing the wrong thing, or that you don't have to, like, you don't have to be concerned about other things. I believe that's why the steps talk about doing an inventory and looking at your faults, and cleaning up your past and stuff like that, because like you can live at peace knowing that you did everything that you were supposed to do to correct everything. And like it's about living right today. Not only about being clean, but living clean. So yeah, you learn how to stay clean, and then you gotta learn how to live clean. Then you gotta learn how to be clean. And these are the things. Um, So I guess I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna call this living clean. And if nobody told you they love you today, I love you, and so does the God of my understanding love you too. And peace and hugs. Thanks.